right off the bat, the source material does not pull any punches. It frames the whole crisis with this powerful accusation, pointing the finger directly at Iran for attacks on oil tankers. This one claim is really the launching point for the entire argument we're about to break down.
So first up, let's talk about why this one little choke point is causing so much stress around the world. The source connects the tension here directly to things we feel right at home, specifically at the gas pump.
And here's where it hits home for the average person. The source makes a direct link. If you're feeling pain at the pump, this instability is why. It says the short-term increase in gas prices is a direct result of these alleged attacks.
Now, to really get what's at stake, you have to understand this location. The Strait of Hormuz isn't just some body of water. It's like a vital artery for the world's economy. A huge chunk of all the oil on the planet has to pass through this narrow channel. So any problem here sends shockwaves everywhere, instantly.
But, this whole argument goes way deeper than just gas prices. The source claims that these actions are yet more proof that the real danger is a nuclear-armed Iran. It argues that would lead to decades of chaos and instability. So the key takeaway here is that this isn't just a regional fight, it's being presented as a line in the sand over nuclear weapons.
Okay, so once that threat is laid out, the whole narrative shifts. Our source now starts to build its case for American strength, arguing that the U.S. is in a totally unique position to handle this crisis. And this is the absolute core of the argument. According to the source, the U.S. is now the #1 producer of oil and gas on the entire planet. And that's not just a number, it's framed as a massive shift in global power.
And just to put that into perspective, the source says that America now pumps out more oil and gas than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. I mean, that is a huge statement, and it's meant to signal a brand new era of American energy dominance.
So you might be asking, how did this even happen? Well, the source points to one specific policy, summed up by that famous slogan, drill, baby, drill. Basically, a huge expansion of domestic energy exploration. This is painted as the engine that created America's new energy surplus.
And this energy muscle isn't happening in a vacuum. It's all part of a bigger picture of economic power. The source claims the U.S. has the strongest economy in history, with record investments and the highest stock market ever. All of this puts America in a position to face this threat from a place of, well, unparalleled strength.
So with the U.S. positioned as this powerhouse, the source then uses that leverage to basically lay down an ultimatum for the rest of the world, especially those nations that still rely on Middle Eastern oil.
And here's the kicker, the real source of that leverage. The argument is that the United States imports almost zero oil through the Strait of Hormuz. The message is as blunt as it gets. We don't need it. This claimed independence is what makes the next part possible.
Which, of course, brings up a huge question, right? If this source is correct and the U.S. is energy independent, what does that mean for huge economies like China, Japan, or countries in Europe that absolutely depend on that shipping lane?
And here's the choice, laid out in really stark terms. The source offers two options. Option A, if your country needs that oil, then you should take the lead on protecting the ships that carry it. Or option B, you can just buy your oil from the United States instead. It's a fundamental challenge to the way things have been done for decades.
This quote really sums up the whole new mindset. The source makes it clear that while the U.S. will be helpful, it's not going to be the world's security guard anymore. That job, it argues, now belongs to the countries that actually need the oil. All right, so for our last section, let's look at the end game. Where does the source predict all of this is actually heading? What does it think the future holds for Iran, the region, and of course the global markets? When it comes to Iran, the source's take is pretty stark. It claims the country has been completely decimated, both militarily and economically. And that assessment is used to suggest that, hey, the hard part is already over.
And that leads to a pretty specific roadmap for how this whole crisis just sorts itself out. The source predicts the strait will open up naturally once things calm down. The logic is that Iran's economy will be so desperate that it'll have no other choice but to start selling oil again.
So what does this mean for the economy? Well, the forecast here is super optimistic. The source predicts any temporary race in gas prices will be very short-lived and that they'll rapidly come back down. And right after that, stock prices will rapidly go back up. It's a vision of a really quick return to normal. And that leaves us with the big final question hanging in the air. The argument we've just walked through isn't just about one crisis. It's a vision for a whole new world order, one built on American energy dominance. So, the question is,
Are we just seeing a temporary power play, or is the world's energy